Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Strange Antiquities. As today we close out our first week back in Undermere, day 7 of our 18-day campaign. Or 19 if you count the epilogue, but we'll worry about that if we survive to see it. That said, let's go follow our dreams. And given that we have been pointed towards a tower, and this is the only tower on the map, I assume we're headed here. I climb the narrow, winding stairs to the top of the tower and am rewarded with views across Lake Undermere. I am not alone in the tower. Standing in the center of the circular platform is a statue of a young woman, the Maiden. Her outstretched arm points due east, across the rooftops of Undermere and beyond. Interesting. Okay, so due east. Amongst trees, which points us right back towards a familiar location. The mossy wood, which we did ping as a potential place of interest. We just went there a mite bit too early. I find what I'm looking for in a small cavity carved in a sturdy oak tree. I look around half expecting to see someone, but there is nobody there. I take my prize and leave, feeling my mood lifted by the smell of damp moss and the gentle rush of wind throughout the treetops. Man, I wish I could just walk around in the woods and find gold in trees. Though I suppose it does come at a bit of a trade-off, what with the curses and monsters and all. You know what that reminds me of? The hole in its face makes me think of that one SCP, the sculpture. Does anyone really follow SCP anymore? Really does feel like it kind of fell by the wayside at a certain point. Got too popular for its own good, perhaps. The death of many a fan-driven community. Verona Green. I walked up the beck a mile or so in the cold and wet yesterday and found a section with a handful of dead fish floating in it. Belly up and blackened they were. I'm not sure what to make of it, but I don't like it. I'm on my way out to Calgarth Hall now. I spoke to Dr. Robertson earlier, and she said the 2 women they found there are still in the same state as the others. In a trance and eyes all black. Before I go, Anna Bryant asked me to drop this off. Okay. Good luck out there. Anna Bryant. Have we met her? When we were kids, we used to explore an abandoned house on the lakefront. We'd take a boat out to the northern tip of Naylor Island and row across from there. You know the one I'm talking about, second from the left in the row of 4. I found myself outside its door 3 days ago, and I went inside for old time's sake. I wish I hadn't. It always had an ominous feel to it. It has taken me the last 3 days to summon the courage to write this letter. But I think it's better you see for yourself what's out there. Yours in faith, Anna Bryant. Okay, so I don't think that's someone we met in-game, but obviously it is someone we apparently know in the wider lore. And may possibly meet by the end of the campaign. But more importantly, it's another puzzle. And our childhood friendship merely serves as the framing device. Oh, also, the beck. Miss Green mentioned that. And that's the river right up here. I just haven't gone out to investigate because it's framed by multiple sectors. We need more info before we go out there, otherwise we're just wandering blind. Right, so abandoned house just across from the northern tip of Naylor Island. second from left in a row of 4, which would be... Oh, okay. We've got 4 houses right here. And they've grouped the first 2 together. I don't know exactly what I was expecting to find. Anna's letter was quite vague, after all. But I certainly wasn't prepared for this. In an alcove of the house, peering out through loose mortar and crumbling brick, is a macabre shrine of sorts. The skull of a stag is mounted above the opening, its antlers smeared with a dark, red substance, and large melted candles pooled out onto the wooden floor on either side. In the center of the altar, there's a small iron chest, rusted and fused to the floor. It's clear that it has been here for a very long time. I do not see any hinge or keyhole or any way of opening it at all. But after a while, I notice an inscription that says simply, "I open to the voice." Oh, is that so? Yeah, I've got to say, the altar feels a whole lot less ominous once you realize it's just dedicated to the local god of nature. The chest opens to reveal a golden totem. I can't imagine who would have stashed it here or why, but it doesn't look like they're coming back for it anytime soon. Nice. Let's see what we got. Cat. Cat. Yet more gold, just lying around, man oh man. Also a moonstone, that's a gem of protection. So not only is this thing adorable, but it's also some sort of guardian totem. Perhaps something to ward off those murderous ravens? Here you go, Jupiter. I got you a friend. So what do you think? No, don't. Dang it, Jupiter. No, bad. You gonna do it again? Oh, I can't stay mad at you. Alright, we'll just move it over here. Oh, sorry. Lester Crowley. I apologize if this inquisition is an imposition to your disposition. It is not my intention to bring to your attention a matter of contention. I have an inclination to perform an incantation of flirtation. For your part, a leaden heart of the Thaumic art. Why does everyone keep moving my poor cat totem around? Leave my cats alone. But yes, I can probably do that for you. Leaden heart. I believe that was a simple wooden token. Oh. These items depict the god Cernunnos in his non-human form. They are heavier than they look due to a core of lead hidden by the more modest exterior. They are said to kindle romantic interest and are sometimes given as wedding gifts. The second and third part I remember. I do not recall that first part being on there back in the demo, so maybe they added it. And it certainly does narrow things down, since, as we literally just saw with the abandoned house, Cernunnos is known for his antlers. So we're going stag. Oh, yeah, I'd say that's deceptively heavy. Not made of wood, though. I remember this actually being, I want to say clay. For some reason, I'm remembering the lead heart being mentioned as wood. But I might just be thinking of something else. Sorry for the wait. Enjoy your date. Don't be late. Though I will say, there is some irony in relying on a charm of a stag to help with a date. Corvin's Might, sometimes called an eagle's gift, an assassin's tool that makes use of Wixic power. When the warrior queen Corvin was surrounded and close to defeat, a gift came to her from an unlikely source. With it, she turned the tide of battle, and the legend of the Bloody Queen was born. Neat. Sounds like that might be important for our climax. I don't like the way that sounded. Alright, let's get you filed. I want to put you top right, I think. Which means I need to move the owl. So we'll put it here. Yeah, that's good. We are running a bit light on space, though, so at some point I am going to have to start shuffling more things off left. Angus, Eaton.
Oh, you're not Eli. I'm returning an item he asked me to repair. The mechanism was mangled, and I've replaced all the springs and given it a clean. Good as new.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Eaton. Oh, and that's got to be our resonant compass. Yeah, let's get a gander at this thing. How do we, Oh, interesting. Okay, well, right off the bat, I am noticing... A, it's obviously... Hold on, let's get this on the table. And you into archives. Okay, so obviously it's closed, but we can also see that there is a contextual cursor which changes over certain parts. Oh, okay. No, okay. Right, no, this isn't our compass. I know exactly what this is. This is a puzzle key. And we actually glimpsed the puzzle lock back in episode 1. Let's crank this thing up. Yeah, that's definitely it. So we need, 2, 4, 5, 6? And there we go. Which nets us an Achievo, a book on curses, and some sort of weird green organic and wood baton? Sounds hollow. So like a rattle, perhaps. Interesting. Though the simple fact it's locked away with a book of curses certainly doesn't bode well. On curses and their effects, a brief overview. Blackheart, Braxis, Breath of Lyra, Burning Blood, Morgan's Insanity, Noctic Sight, the Sapphire Curse, Tormund's Paralysis. Oh, and I guess that's it. Okay. We'll toss that down here with the rest of our reference material. I suspect that'll be important once we start getting customers complaining about vague symptoms and the like. Also, guess we're done with the key. Bye! And on we go. Next. Eli White. It wasn't my intention to leave you unattended for this long, but I'm afraid that I'm going to need to rely on you for a little longer. The Order of the Black Veil seemed more concerned about the ravens than the black-eyed state that Mr. Hungerford was found in. They said it would take a very powerful force indeed to upset them like that. Unfortunately, they either weren't able or weren't willing to talk any further on the subject. I was hoping to avoid it, but I must go to Oxford and the Bodleian Library. I will be gone for a few days at least, perhaps longer, but you seem to be handling yourself well here. I do not see eye to eye with the head of collections at the Bodleian, but I do know that he takes an interest in horticulture. I will take him a Scythian charm to smooth things over between us. Scythian charm, the horticulturist's friend. I believe made of wood, tingles in rain. Oh. Okay, no, also potentially made of planetary metals, which, as we saw last time, are the big alchemical 7. So wood might just be a misdirect. We need to look for items that are gold, silver, copper, iron, lead, quicksilver, or tin. Though if we find an object made of quicksilver, we probably shouldn't touch it, because that would also probably cause a tingling sensation, albeit not a positive one. So something made of iron or precious metals, perhaps? Was it raining when we checked the cups? I want to say it was, but... Yeah, okay, so no, it's not those. That's obviously our spirit eye. That feels way too elaborate. Oh, there we go. Warm and vibrating with energy. Made of gold and silver, I assume. Also, a distinct plant-like theme. So wood was actually a misdirect. Sneaky. Here you go, sir. Nice. Yeah, made of planetary metals. Design hints at horticultural use. Vibrates when it rains, which was, of course, our biggest clue. Farewell! Diverging hook. A way to carve thoughts from the mind of another. If done with skill, the third party may have no realization that the thought was ever there at all. But it is all too easy to leave a mind in disarray. Even when approached with care, the unanchored thoughts are easy to lose track of. A single gemstone from each of the 3 thaumic branches, you say? Well, a couple of things off left immediately spring to mind, though. Though actually, now that I'm looking at them, this one does feel more likely. The one beside it, the, golden fan blade we got from Mr. Potter, definitely feels a bit more like what you'd go digging around in someone's brain with, but... No, the hole in the head on the stone idol. Yeah, that makes sense. Carving people's thoughts out. So yeah, that's got to be our diverging hook. Next, Frencesca Robertson. I'm at a loss with these patients. They aren't responding to anything I've tried so far, and I haven't been able to find anything in the literature that fits their symptoms. I am finding that they become violent if they aren't restrained, and they are always trying to leave. If nothing else, Dranthium tea from a restful mether might get a moment of lucidity out of them. But if you've got any ideas, then I'm all ears. Oh, Witch's Finger. Well, we know exactly where Witch's Finger is if we decide to go that route. But let's get a gander at this restful mether. Restful mether. A mether is a thaumaturge's link to the inner mind. A hot tea made from the Dranthium plant is drunk from them, taking on different properties depending on the type of mether. This particular type can be used to enter a meditative state and bypass the rush and clutter of consciousness, promoting clarity of thought. Well, we know exactly what that is. That's one of the cups we just found. And then Witch's Finger. Witch's fingers are said to be the severed digits of the Witch of Undermere. They are capable of inflicting intense pain, but the goal is supposedly purification of the body. A most unpleasant experience, but a last resort that has cured some and finished off others. You know what? I think we might hold off on giving them the finger. And perhaps focus on putting them to rest? Question mark. Iffy phrasing aside, I think the restful Meether's our best bet. We just need to figure out which one it is. Since even at a glance here, I see 2 with the peculiar 3-handle configuration. But there must be some way to narrow it down. Yeah, I mean, aside from the picture, it doesn't really give us much to go on. They're both made of wood. They both sport different designs, aside from the 3-handle configuration. I want to say they both mention having a sharp, pungent odor. So this one is festooned with gemstones. I want to say amethyst. And it specifies that the odor is sharp but not unpleasant, which could imply potability. Amethyst, a stone of containment. That doesn't feel like something that would give you... Oh wait, no, it might be iolite. A calming stone of peace. Dark purple. Okay, that is not amethyst. That is, in fact, iolite. A calming stone of peace. Which I think does make this our lead contender. Nice. Yes, I'm definitely glad we double-checked that gemstone. Here you go, Doc. Really hope we're teeing you up for success. Lovely. And again, yeah, definitely getting trickier. Which I do kind of love. I mean, it all feels fair. It follows its own internal logic. Bones Guard. A small item known as a Bones Guard can be placed in a liquid to render it safe to drink. King Cedric the Meek was well known to be terrified of being poisoned. Always drank from the same goblet, always placed a Bone Guard inside. He was stabbed to death in 1203. These objects bear the mark of the antidote. Interesting. Well, that should be simple enough, I imagine. I imagine that's a symbol we can simply look up in our book of symbols. I guess I really should start tagging the items that we sort of tentatively identify. I started doing that with some of them. But, you know, there are a lot of cases where it's just guesswork at best. Hey, sweetie. Also Kaiser, who you can't see, but he's currently lying on my keyboard. Rebecca Rose, the artist. I've come to thank you for sharing the wonder of the Ares Remnant with me. It has changed my life. I'm still getting to grips with it, but already I'm feeling my way back to painting again. Thank you. You are very welcome, Miss Rose. I am very glad I gave that to you and not the Nightmare Eye. Thanks for stopping by. Aw, an end of day. Well, at least we went out on a high note. That was a nice feel-good way to wrap our first week, which does also officially put us at the 40% mark. And, nothing else to really do, so I guess we'll go get some rest. End of day 7. He knew what he had to do. Without hesitating, he took hold of his diverging hook and used it to cut away the infected part of his mind before it could spread and consume him entirely. Oh, interesting. Especially if we're still assuming that this is Mr. Potter, the relic hunter. Which would make sense based on what we read about him. Some sort of king's rook. I am closest to the sunset, but furthest from the sunrise. So... west. Something on the west side of our map. Though the only tower on our map is the one we already went to, the one with the pointing maiden. So what else could it be referring to, unless we're meant to go back to that same tower, which doesn't feel likely. Also, yeah, that dream snippet does have me kind of second-guessing on the diverging hook again. I don't think this is it, but this is what we got from Mr. Potter. I still feel like our strongest contender for diverging hook is this one, which we found in a tree. As for the dream card, sun rises in the east and sets to the west, which feels pretty obvious. But looking at the west side of our map, we've possibly got the lighthouse. That is slightly farther west than Galfrey's tower. Though it could also be a tower in the mansion. I'll have to double check that as well. I do recall there being multiple towers on the mansion map. But I'm getting ahead of myself. That's for next time. You know, it's funny. On the one hand, I want to keep playing, but on the other hand, I also don't want to have this end too soon. Kind of a catch-22. Immediate gratification versus making it last and savoring what we've got. Oh, though, actually, we might have one more thing to do. I'm not sure why this didn't occur to me sooner. Maybe because we don't really usually spend much time looking at this table, but I think I just realized what those coasters are for. Though unfortunately, I don't think we have enough to actually resolve what they're meant for, since we have 4 empty spaces here and only 3 tiles unlocked. But we will move them down here. Oh yeah, we can see some pretty obvious recurring patterns. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself. We can't even solve that one yet, so yes, as much as I hate to do it, we'll hit the pause button for now. I'll take care of the usual off-screen bookkeeping, and we will pick up here next time. But hey, at least we can see clearly now. The rain is gone. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to NearEV23, Revenant, Alois, Bowman, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Lady Shayna, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Thomas Piatkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.